On to this story now. So rape and human trafficking accused pastor Timothy Omotoso is back in court today at the Port Elizabeth High Court. Omotoso failed to have his case withdrawn in October last year. He now wants a special entry to be made in his court file. The application for the special entry brought by Omotoso's lawyer Peter Daubermann seeks to include allegations that some state witnesses were led to commit perjury during the trial.
Accused Pastor Timothy Omotoso and his two co-accusers going to continue at the Gqeberha High Court this morning. But just to recap our viewers, to make them catch up to see exactly where we are and how we found ourselves here. Last year, defense lawyer Peter Daubermann put an application asking for a mistrial, stating that former state prosecutor Advocate Ntelwa, who has recused himself from this case, persuaded the witnesses to commit perjury. He stated various instances as to why he feels this was done, highlighting issues such as that Ntelwa formed a WhatsApp group where Daubermann believes or alleges that Ntelwa used this WhatsApp group to permit or to persuade the witnesses to commit perjury once they took the witness stands. And he says that that was proven how some of the witnesses would say one thing to a psychologist, one thing to the police, and then as soon as they spoke to Advocate Ntelwa, somehow their charges or their testimony would change once they hit the dock. So he said that this was enough reason to ask for a mistrial, and he was trying to persuade Judge Omotoso to rule that. But in her judgment, according to the mistrial, Omotoso says she dismisses the application of a mistrial, but then did state two things that are important as to why we found ourselves here. She said that one, she can't call for a mistrial because there is no evidence to prove that the WhatsApp group was indeed used to persuade the witnesses to commit perjury, and it was not reason enough to call for a mistrial. She did state, however, which is important for this case, that the testimony of Malusia Gianni was a bit inconsistent, and she also did state that there were instances where she could see that former state prosecutor Advocate Ntelwa did persuade, or he did go against the ethics of laws within the courtroom. But she did state that what she's going to do is drop 32 charges against the three co-accused, and right now between Omotoso and his two co-accused, they now only have 33 charges against them. So then this year, what we have found, while we are in court this morning, is that Peter Daubermann is now saying that he wants to bring a new application, and this is based on what Judge Omotoso said in her judgment against the mistrial. And he says that he believes that Malusia Gianni's testimony, which Judge Omotoso said herself was inconsistent, is reason enough to show that indeed Advocate Ntelwa did try persuade witnesses to commit perjury, because in one instance, Malusia Gianni said to a police that Omotoso just inserted a finger into her private part, but then when she got to speaking to Advocate Ntelwa, she changed this charge and made it rape. And Daubermann is now saying that this is reason enough to prove that her testimony was inconsistent, because Advocate Ntelwa is the one that persuaded her to change her testimony to make it a charge rape, to make it more heavy charge against Omotoso. So he's bringing this new application out to say this trial must be called a mistrial, and secondly, there's proof now from Malusia Gianni's testimony that indeed Advocate Ntelwa did try to persuade witnesses to commit perjury. So that's where we found ourselves this morning. We will hear both from the state and the defense. We have also heard from the state that they have finished their case. So now it's up to the defense to try and bring reasons as to why this case must go forward, and then eventually after many years, this case should eventually come to an end.